Dear friends, welcome to another episode of The Informant. In this video, we'll dive into the latest on the Russian drone that violated Polish airspace and allegedly crashed on Polish territory. With NATO airspace breached, what could possibly come next? Could Poland invoke Article 5? Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Every few weeks, typically every 3 or 4, Russia unleashes massive aerial assaults on Ukraine, targeting key civilian infrastructure like power stations, dams, and ports. Analysts following Russia's invasion of Ukraine note that this 3 to 4 week interval is the time Vladimir Putin needs to amass and prepare the necessary resources for such large-scale attacks. When we look closely at what it takes to launch over 200 drones and missiles simultaneously from multiple directions, all carefully timed to strike within a 1-hour window, it becomes clear just how immense and coordinated these operations are. These assaults involve dozens of aircraft, ships, and submarines, manned by thousands of soldiers. The logistical effort to move these personnel, vehicles, and equipment is colossal. And of course, the hundreds of drones and missiles that are launched during each major attack add to the scale. This Monday, August 26th, Russia carried out one of these massive assaults, launching over 100 ballistic and cruise missiles, accompanied by more than 100 drones, mostly Iranian Shahed 136 drones. These attacks targeted locations all across Ukraine. The missiles and drones were launched from various platforms, cruise missiles often fired from ships in the Black Sea, or increasingly from heavy bombers like the Tu-95. Despite being over 70 years old, the Tu-95 has evolved into a significant missile launching platform. As you can see from this map, the routes taken by these missiles and drones vary, depending on the launch points and the targets. Many of these paths skirt the borders of neighboring countries, most of which are NATO members, like Poland. This proximity increases the risk of a Russian drone or missile entering these nations' airspace, whether by accident or design. On Monday, August 26th, this risk became a reality when the Polish Ministry of Defense reported that an object breached their airspace. According to Poland's official statement, the object, likely a Shahed drone, was tracked by 3 radars for 25 kilometers before disappearing, suggesting that it either crashed in Polish territory or dropped to a low altitude, evading radar and returning to Ukrainian airspace. The Polish military is now searching the area where radar contact was lost, attempting to locate the drone's wreckage. With this confirmed breach of NATO airspace and the possibility that a Russian drone has crashed on Polish soil, an important question arises. What happens next? Could Poland, as a NATO member, take more drastic action, perhaps even triggering Article 5? Article 5 is NATO's most critical clause, stating that an attack on one member is an attack on all members. This means that if a NATO country like Poland is directly attacked, all 31 other members, including the United States, are obligated to come to its defense once Article 5 is activated. However, in the case of an airspace violation, or even a crash of a Russian drone in NATO territory, this does not automatically constitute an attack. For now, there seems to be no clear evidence of intent behind the incident. A missile or drone deviating from its path and momentarily crossing into NATO airspace, or even crashing, doesn't amount to a deliberate attack. It's one thing for Russia to purposefully target Poland, destroying a base or military command center. It's quite another for a drone or missile to accidentally stray into NATO airspace with no intent to cause harm. As long as it is proven that there was no intentional strike and that no critical installations were deliberately targeted, this would not trigger Article 5. Although it's too early to say with absolute certainty, all signs point to this being an unintentional breach of Polish airspace. Despite Vladimir Putin's aggressive expansionist tendencies, he is not reckless enough to attack Poland directly. He understands that doing so would bring all 32 members of NATO, the largest and most powerful military alliance in the world, into the conflict. There is, however, another possibility, that this was a calculated provocation by Putin to test NATO's resolve. In this scenario, Monday's incident could have been a deliberate act. a way for Putin to gauge NATO's willingness to shoot down his missiles and drones. Poland has previously stated that it would take such action if Russian missiles or drones encroached on its airspace. Perhaps this was Putin's way of seeing just how serious Poland is and measuring NATO's response through its official statements and diplomatic reactions. No matter the case, one thing remains clear. While Putin's ambitions may be boundless, he is not irrational enough to risk a direct confrontation with Poland, and by extension, NATO as a whole. If you value independent journalism and want to support our work, consider buying us a coffee through the QR code on the screen. Your contribution is essential for us to continue bringing quality analysis and information. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest analyses and insights on the world's most urgent geopolitical issues.
Ось все, пошла, дивись. Єбать його! Пізда! Єбать його, сука, в жопу! Пізда!